tell him this. Did he miss? Junior Watanabe on my
Girl, a lot happened this week in the sports industry.
And you see that smile like I had like just a few minutes ago, it's about to be gone. Okay. So, like Shayla mentioned, a lot has happened in the sports world. And a lot of what's happened, especially, yes, the WNBA had their like free agency and there was a lot of like major trades that I didn't really understand. But Shayla was like, girl, this is crazy.
Yes, a lot has been happening. We're not going to get into it, but when Rebecca I'm forcing her to also be a WNBA girly, but we're working on it. Next season, she'll be more, you know.
I'm in tuned, okay? So we're going to talk about the NBA and the trade deadline that recently just happened. So the 2025 NBA trade deadline ended on February 6th. So if you are watching this was yesterday. So we saw a bunch of deals that reshaped the league. So I'm going to highlight just a few, okay? And I'm going to put this little graphic up real quick so y'all can see just what I'm talking about, okay? So we have, this one pissed me off. Jimmy Butler to the Warriors in a 4-team trade with Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a first-round pick heading to the Miami Heat. We have Luka Dončić traded to the Lakers in a shocking swap for Anthony Davis. Zach LaVine joining the Kings, with De'Aaron Fox moving to the Spurs in a multi-team deal. Chris Middleton sent to the Wizards, while Kyle Kuzma landed with the Bucks. The Raptors acquired Brandon Ingram from the Pelicans, and the Lakers made another move, acquiring Hornets center Mark Williams. And I just want to highlight an additional deal that was made, which was Marcus Smart is going to the Wizards. Nurkic is joining the Hornets, and various pick swaps across the league. So this trade deadline really changed up a lot of people's rosters. So the one we're going to touch on first is the one for Luka and AD that happened literally out of nowhere. And when I woke up, Shayla had sent me the text. I literally woke up at 8 something. I was like, what is Shayla sending me? I said, this girl lying.
I too thought it was a lie. Listen, I am a Celtics fan, but I have a lot of players that I just like outside of the team because, you know, I just like them. I like the way they play. I like their personalities. And I like Luka. You know what I'm saying? I love people that can match their talk, right? I'm a big talker. And so there are certain athletes that talk a lot, but their game doesn't, you know, be nothing. But Luka, honey, one thing about him, he could hit a game winner. He could do all of these things. So I have been a fan of Luka. And when I saw this, keep in mind, we beat the Mavs last year, and now that's how the Celtics became, you know, like the 2024 champions. Okay. So the last thing on my mind was that they would trade literally the franchise player that got them to the NBA finals. Like, but like that's what every team is trying to get to. Obviously, they didn't win it all, but like they made it to the finals.
And I will say last year, like Luka is the one who carried that whole team.
Yes, that is the thing that is so annoying. So there's so many like conspiracy theories and all of these things of like the reason why the front office, Nico, I don't know who Nico was, Nico Harrison, but now I feel like I'm a Nico Harrison expert. He's like the general manager, or I don't know the title, but he's the one that has shown face for after this trade. Like he made the deal with Rob Pelinka from the Lakers, and Nico's explanation for this was that Luka's fitness, his weight, and his conditioning. And I am just like, well, his conditioning was good enough to take your organization to the NBA finals. So many people, like fans, have been outraged about this. Like when I saw the casket that they put like in front of their arena where the Mavs play, I was like, I was hurt, and I'm not even a part of the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really watch the Mavs like that. And if I did, it was strictly for Luka. And the other thing that it made me mad about it is like, it's such a like, it doesn't matter what you do for an organization. Whenever they feel like you are no longer worthy, they will just throw your behind out. Because at least if whatever, let's say that your points are valid, which I don't think so. Because if you actually cared about your franchise player, the fact that Luka was pushed out before Zion from the Pelicans is insane. Because at least Luka has done a whole lot more for the organization. But let's not get into that. The least you could have done is give this man a heads up. This man was about to go to bed when his agent called him and told him that he was going to be traded. What?
And apparently
what you could have done is like, oh, hey, Luka, you know what I'm saying? Like, we feel like you're not doing what we need you to do, so we will be. They're saying that the reason why they didn't tell him is because they didn't want him and his agent to kind of like have more say in where it is that he goes. But it's like, he already did so much for you, for your organization. That like, what? I was just so in shock. This whole idea that is because of the weight, I think is a lie, because you didn't exhaust a lot, like enough options for me for you to just let him go like that. Another thing was like, oh, they didn't want to pay him the super max.
And also, I heard like apparently Luka just put a down payment on a house in Dallas. It's just like,
yeah, he thought he was going to be a Mavericks for life, and that's the way they treated him. I think it's so insane, and I hope and pray that, and this is, it breaks my heart because it has nothing to do with the Mavericks player, right? Like, it wasn't their decision, it was the higher ups decision. But I can't wait for Luka to prove himself. I mean, he didn't have to prove himself because he's already proven he's a franchise player. And that's why it got so much reaction from not only the fans, but even the players. The players couldn't believe it. Like, no way you're going to trade Luka. Yeah. We love Anthony Edwards. And even Anthony was like,
I'm scared.
Right. Because if you could trade Luka like that, you could trade anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
It was just super crazy, and I cannot wait to see him, flourish with the Lakers. I have no doubt that if it is true that he was dealing with whatever it was with conditioning, oh baby, he gonna come back bigger and better.
And my whole thing is, to your point about them talking about his conditioning, Shaq and a whole bunch of people have made this point. It's like, if this is how he's playing at the conditioning level that you guys feel is less than, then like, what is it that you're exactly looking for? Because like, I don't understand. I feel like there's way more to the story than we'll ever know.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. It could be for money. It could be that they didn't want to pay him that extra amount because of whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like, to me, right, the amount of people who thought that Sham's account got hacked, and I want to say shout out to him, because during this trade deadline, as a journalist, like Shayla and I will tell you, like, when you get those sources who are giving you those breaking stuff, baby, you've reached it and you got that. Okay. But back to our AD Luka train, right? So for me, I like watching Luka play against other people that aren't my teams. I won't lie to you, right? I have never felt any way for like AD. But one thing I will say is, like, when he's on, he's on. But when he's off, he is off, right? And one thing I will say about AD and Luka, and it's like, for people who don't understand basketball and like understand why this was like so shocking or anything like that, it's like, you have two star players who bring their own, type of talents to a team that help them win and everything like that. And it's like, you just taking them both and be like, oop, trade places. What AD did for the Lakers may not work for the Mavs, but what Luka has done for the Mavs will work for the Lakers on the offensive end. Emphasis on offensive.
And I also understand, yes, they're both stars, but it's like, again, if the the trade talking point is that for his conditioning, you are trading for Anthony Davis, who is also known to deal with a lot of, injuries. You know what I'm saying? People are always like, oh, yeah, he's great if he's able to be in the court consistently. So this whole notion of like your big worry was health, conditioning, and staying on the court. Well, you are trading for someone that's the equivalent.
And like, my thing is, right, I think, like I said, Luka is incredibly talented on the offensive end. There's sometimes where I see him shoot the ball, I'm like, it's not going in, and then nothing but net. Like, right? Defensively, he is not where he could be. During the finals, there were so many defensive plays I saw where I'm like, Luka, what are you doing?
But also, he is 25.
Right. And I'm sure he has a lot of growing and learning to do. But
Anthony Davis is how old?
I mean, I agree with you. But at the current moment, defensively, he is not where he needs to be. And what do the Lakers literally, Anthony Davis has said in a press conference, I believe last week or 2 weeks ago, what do the Lakers need? They need another big. Y'all don't have another big now that y'all traded away Anthony
No, they
Davis.
did get a big. They made some trades.
Oh, yeah.
They from the Hornets.
Yeah, they got that. But it's just like, honestly, I want to see how this is going to go for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers are not going to win now. They're just thinking of the future after LeBron, right? Like, who better to learn from than someone that has been able to play professionally up until his 40s, and God knows, how much more he has now that he is next to Luka. So I think Mavs have more pressure now to win, because your whole thing that you traded a franchise player, your fans already are on the edge with Ja. So even if you guys win it all, I still think that there will be some like hate a little bit, because it's like,
right. And the thing that I think is going to be really interesting about it as well is that, like, with the Mavs, they have a team full of big men. Like, everybody like 6'8" and up except Kyrie. I think Kyrie like 6'6", 6'7", maybe, whatever. I don't think he that tall, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think he that tall.
I think he like 6'3".
But regardless, he's not the tallest person on
right. So it's just like, this is going to be very interesting to see.
We'll see. I want to know. Talk to me about your Warriors. That's why
I've been trying to avoid that. I don't know if you realized. Okay, so Shayla and I have not really talked about this because I literally have just been like, ever since this. Okay, so like we mentioned, the Warriors have acquired Jimmy Butler. And if you know, in the past episodes where we talked, we've said Jimmy Butler, all he wants to do is leave Miami. If he wants to leave, then leave. Do we feel like the way he went about it was the best way to do it? No, because just because you don't want to be somewhere, that does not mean that you have to act like you are the best thing given to like holy water, basically. Right? So if you know Jimmy Butler's history, he has a history of being like, when he doesn't want to be someplace, you will know. When he wants out, he will tell you, and he'll tell everybody else, right? So now we traded Andrew Wiggins, who not only was great for the Warriors offensively, but also on the defensive end, who helped the Warriors win a championship. This man he had his own, like, and like I saw this thing earlier today, and I'm just to reiterate to y'all what Andrew Wiggins, who he is as a person, right? So when he was on the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was drafted as the number 1 pick. But Andrew Wiggins is not one of those people who can be the star player, but he can be a role player. Mm-hmm. So when he came to the Warriors, right, that his role was to basically be that third option. So what did he do? He was that third option. Like, he scored when he needed to. He gave the defensive stops to star players when he was needed. When the whole lockdown happened and everybody was forced to get vaccines, he went against his own beliefs, went and got the vaccine. There was a point in one of the seasons, I believe it was the 22-23 season, where he was basically missing in action for a majority of the year because he was going through his own personal issues. Come to find out, it was like health issues going on with his father and he needed to be there. And then he came back the next year and helped them win a championship. Right? And I'm not saying that Jimmy Butler is not a good player. I'm not saying that he can't, like, we've seen what he's done with the Heat. We literally seen him take over games, especially when he was basically the only person playing on the court.
So here's my question. Okay, we understand. My main point is, like, first of all, there's been an ongoing joke that a lot of stars do not want to go to the Warriors. So it's like, what's happening in that locker room? I won't be the one to say, but the people are talking. And so the Warriors, I don't want to say they were desperate, but they needed a star, right? There were rumors that Kevin Durant was supposed to, go back. And then Kevin Durant was allegedly said, like, oh no, like, I don't want to go back to the Warriors. And so my thing is like, what difference does Jim, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, clearly they wanted a star because they know they needed it, right? Like, I feel like poor Curry, Stephen Curry holds so, like, he's carrying so much weight that it's like, at some point, that is not going to be the winning formula to make it to the finals, right? Like, he's going to get tired. He's going to get exhausted from carrying the team, let's say, to the play-in tournament or to the quarterfinals, whatever. So how much more do you think, or how much does Jimmy move the needle for the team, essentially, is my question.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't feel like he's going to move much because he and Andrew Wiggins literally have the same type of playing format. They can both be two-way players. And when we say two-way players, we're talking about on the offensive end and on the defensive end. My whole thing, right? Jimmy Butler wanted out. The Warriors knew they needed a change. So it's like, I feel like they didn't even, I think they should have waited to the end of the season. Obviously, y'all not making, listen, as a Warriors fan, I love y'all down, but y'all wasn't going to make it to the finals. Y'all wasn't going to that, like, the championship year is not for y'all this year.
Especially how the West is stacked up, honey. Please.
And it's like, I don't understand why they went and made this choice to bring Jimmy Butler onto the team. And I was listening to their GM talk yesterday when they were playing the Lakers. And he was just like, yeah, like, we looked at everything that Jimmy Butler has to offer. And we've looked at, like, everything. Y'all don't understand, right? Listen, I love Draymond Green down. That is my uncle in my head. Y'all already got one PR problem. And you gonna bring on another PR problem. Shayla has been laughing at these memes.
His song that he posted.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
I just can see Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler butting heads because this is my thing. And this is the point I was trying to get at earlier. Yes, Jimmy Butler is an incredible player, but Jimmy Butler wanted to go to a team that was championship ready because he wants to win a ring. The thing is, some players, as great as they may be, some players are just those type of players who don't get a ring. The ring is just not meant for you. As talented as you may be, it's just not in your course. I feel like Jimmy Butler wants to be, regardless of what it is, Stephen Curry is going to be a true leader. And when Kevin Durant came to the team, he made Kevin Durant the focal point, even though it was Stephen Curry's team. Jimmy Butler wants to be that. But at the end of the day, that is Stephen Curry's team. You are not leading nothing. And he has this, like, machismo attitude where he thinks like he's the best thing in the world. But at the end of the day, this is Stephen Curry's team. You are coming on as an asset. You are not leading nothing.
Yeah. And also, I feel like even Steve Kerr, who is, like, the coach, he was asked about Jimmy and he was like, oh, actually, like, he doesn't know him. Like, oh, I haven't really, like, talked to him. I've never coached him. I think Jimmy Butler is an acquired taste. I do think so. And I feel like because Draymond has gone through so much and he does have his track record, I think he is going to try a lot to, make the sauce work. But they have a lot of similar traits. And, if God forbid something shakes during practice, I don't think that Jimmy Butler is going to respond the same way that Jordan Poole did. I think Jimmy will clap back. But again, I don't want to put that on the team. I wish them the best. I hope that it works out. But we do also have to be honest. Like Rebecca said, Jimmy has a very alpha mentality. He's not trying to but maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Like, I don't know him personally. But my thing is like, again, he wants to win. And the Warriors, as constructed right now, I just don't think that they are gonna head to the finals. I just don't think so, especially with how stacked the West is. So I hope that they both kind of level head and in order to make it work, because I think Stephen Curry deserves that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he already has enough pressure. And don't add more.
I just want, before we move on, this is gonna be my last point, right? When you've seen the Warriors and their championship years, right? And the thing that has made the Warriors work is they always use the phrase strength in numbers. And they always have players who understand their role, right? And with Klay Thompson, he was always the number 2 option, but he understood his role. Right? When it was moments for him to shine, he shined. When it was moments for Steph to shine, he shined. With Andrew Wiggins, he understood his role. When his number was called, if we need you to be the offensive player, you are going to do what you need to do to be the offensive player. But when you need to be the defensive player, I need you to hike them shorts up and get in your defensive stand, okay? Jimmy Butler, whenever his role on a team has been threatened, now he want to back out. Now he want to do whatever he want to do. That is not going to work if you want to win a championship, which is why I say some players, as talented as they may be, don't get the ring. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to come together. Yeah. Draymond, I beg, please.
I think he's gonna try. He's gonna try to make it.
And if he's anything like me, because in my head, I really feel like I'm the female version of Draymond Green. We will really try, but once that pot, we don't even need the pot. Don't even need to boil over. Once I see one bubble, what you trying to do?
Right. I just hope, like you said, I hope Jimmy understands his role, and when he comes into the team, he can't be like, "Oh, I run this," because it's like Draymond gonna settle that real quick. I am the one.
Okay. They don't play about
anyways, let's move on.
Okay, so
we be here all day.
No, literally. So the last thing we're going to mention in our sports corner is the Super Bowl. Bum, bum, bum. We are officially here. And of course, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. And we got my Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. Feel as you want, feel as you may. They're in there.
Yeah. So President Trump will also be there at the Super Bowl front and center. And I am just excited for the Kendrick Lamar and SZA halftime show. I really hope that he performs Not Like Us, which won lots of Grammys. So
first of all,
I don't see no AI clicks. I see a lot of people that actually enjoy the song and play it. And I hope to also enjoy it in the halftime show. I love SZA. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't really care who wins. I obviously have a preference, but it's not really that strong. It's just because my haterade, I just don't like certain things from a certain team. But again, I'm there for SZA and Kendrick Lamar.
I feel you. But honestly, here's my question. What song do you think he's going to open up with?
I don't know.
I feel like, honestly, I would love if Kendrick Lamar opened up with either Poetic Justice or I need a little throwback just to show hey, this is where we came from. But I just know one song he gonna end it on is Not Like Us. I
hope so. And we don't want edited versions of the song. We need everything. But I heard they said that is going to be dependent on the FCC. I think those decisions are going to be made above him, which sucks, but we will see.
Right.